And welcome back into another episode of the Redhawk Report. We're joined by head baseball coach Donny Harrel. Coach, thanks for hopping on before you head to practice today.
Absolutely.
You guys just finally clinched a spot in the WAC playoffs now, and now you get to head down there to Arizona, first Grand Canyon. But kind of talk to us about how the season ended up 1-6 of your last 10 to kind of capture this spot.
Yeah, it was a unique season, as you know, just based on everything we went through with COVID and injuries and high expectations to start the year. And I thought we played well in the beginning of the season and played some good teams. And then by the time we got to conference, it just seems like we got into a little bit of a funk, whether it be not all of our personnel being on the field or getting into a rhythm. And, we went through that wave of 2.5, 3 weeks of not having our full club, kind of filling out who we were and got beat around a little bit. But as you said, as guys came back and we got healthy, we've been on a nice stretch. And we played good this week. And we got, obviously bull rushed on Saturday. But I think our heads were in a different space too with senior day a little bit. But very happy to get into the tournament. As you know, anything can happen from there. We've had a lot of success in the tournament of making some changes of what we do in that part compared to ours. So we're healthy and we're excited to get down to Mesa. But we still want to take care of business at GCU first.
You talked about the resiliency you guys had. You had COVID, you had injuries, you didn't have your initial starting lineup, and then once that finally got in there, you started playing really good baseball. Do you feel like you're playing your best baseball right now, or do you feel like you still have some improvements that can be made?
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. I mean, we still got some, as you've seen, because you follow us every game, we've got some changes to make in our bullpen to just find the right pieces. But I thought it showed up, quite a bit when we were at UW and we were able to match up with guys. Prior to, obviously we lose that game 4-2, but we ran some lefties in to face lefties, righties to face righties. Those guys took those roles well. We didn't do that against CBU, just based on, again, trying to get our innings spread out with our starters to get them ready for the tournament. But we can go back to mixing and matching this weekend against GCU because we're going to downplay our starters a little bit and protect them and have them run 70 to 75 pitches. So if we can get the bullpen where they feel like they're in a good spot this weekend, then I think we create good momentum going into the tournament.
Is there a point in this season where you felt we finally turned the corner? Is there a certain game or a certain week of practice that you really felt, we're coming together now?
I thought Dixie State, it was a must-win series, and just being on the back end of this conference and making sure we're getting into a tournament, and we had some ebbs and lows, and they didn't crack, and it was the first time that we felt good about the guys we went to in the mound, and they showed great resilience, and they kept their composure. The bats stayed hot down there, obviously, in a very hot environment in the upper 90s. So I think that game taught us a lot about ourselves, even though we had already beaten, Washington and Portland. That one for me just seemed like, okay, behind or ahead, we showed that we knew how to play when we were ahead, but more importantly, we came behind and won that third game. So I would say that was the game for me. And then it carried over to the first game against Cal Baptist. And then Saturday, we made a good push there in the ninth when Connor hit a 2-run home run and Anderson hits one, just 5 feet foul. So I like where we're at. I do want this bullpen to, show me something down at GCU just so we have the final pieces. But I'm very satisfied with where we're at right now.
Has there been a player or a position group that's really stood out and made improvements this year that you feel has been a big reason for this turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the best offensive club we've ever had statistically. And a lot of that's due because we're old. And a lot of those guys, and I think that's a benefit going into the tournament. A lot of these guys have played in that big arena before down in Mesa, so I think that helps us. But yeah, and then just late Connor getting hot. Gelos has been there all year. Bosenalt's been there all year, but now Ansonson's had some hot games. Welch has been there. So it's all contagious, right? And we're hoping the pitching gets contagious as well too. But the offense and defense has been really good the last month of the season, and our pitching's picking up. But I think we'll win, offensively more than anything because it's obviously a hot park, and hopefully we hit a bunch of balls around that stadium.
We'll get you out of here on this one. You've played the West Division, obviously, because you're in it, but now with the new format for the WAC, the Southwest, you're finally going to see them down there in Mesa. What's kind of the thought when you see a team that you haven't seen all year, only seen on film? Like, what's the game plan for that?
Well, it's kind of interesting because that conference has been separated for so long now where you knew what 4 teams were going to Mesa. And when GCU kind of jumped ahead in our conference, and then when we lost that last series to SAC, there was separation between the 1 and 2 and who was going to be the 3 and 4 in our conference. So our coaches have done a great job of staying ahead of it and done a lot of scouting on Sam Houston State and Lamar, because we know we're going to play one of those two. So we're a little bit blessed there, because the last 3 weeks have been scouting them with anticipation that we were going to make the tournament. But, as I told the WAC network this morning, you don't really know what you're getting into. It's exciting because it's a team you haven't played, so we're really excited about that. But you don't have the ability to look across the diamond and get a feel for what their pulse is, how they play when they're behind, or how they play when they're ahead, or what the skipper's thinking in certain situations, because that doesn't show up on video or scouting reports. So we'll play it, one pitch at a time, so to speak, which is an old saying, but kind of create some reactions and read what they're doing to see if we can, combat that or stay ahead of it. But I think it's exciting. It's exciting for the conference to, play teams you haven't, and so we're looking forward to that.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach. Good luck down there in Arizona. I'll be joining you soon, but let's go get some wins.
Absolutely. We'll have a cold iced tea down there.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Again, head men's baseball coach Donny Harrel here on the Redhawk Report.